Okay. So hello and welcome to today's ProNotary webinar. Just as a reminder, these are held every week, so you can go ahead and go on to our website and sign up to our weekly webinar. Today, what I want to go into, and let me find it, is how to get referral partners for your independent notary business. This could also work for different businesses like service-based businesses, or just any business in general if you want to learn about how to get referral partners. But we are going to obviously dial it down for our notaries, just because we want business to be booming for you so that it can be business booming for us. So let me find the framework that I have just so that I can keep on track. Let me find it. Okay. So the first thing that you want to think about is imagine that you have a series of people within your business or within your life that are in different places than you usually go to. That once the opportunity arises, you get the business from them. So they are in, let's say, a room that you wouldn't be in, and they're coming across someone that, does a lot of notice of commencement or some other document that needs notarized over and over again. That person could refer you and give your information, also make some sort of soft introduction for you, in order for you to build your business. So that most common term is called a referral partner. And it is extremely important for your business, but then also it makes things a lot easier, because it's essentially having an army of different people that are looking out for you, and your own business. So the way to make those connections and start building that relationship with these different businesses, because usually it's B2B, so you're a business, they're a business, is to approach them like you are going to be a partner to them, because obviously, like, you want to lead with value. You don't want to take away from them. They want to be incentivized to, send work your way. So you would want to do a little bit of vetting. It's not uncommon to meet people at like networking events or mixers or networking groups, and then just kind of go from there. So it is fairly common to invite the other businesses out to coffee, or out to a drink, or whatever setting that you would want to do, a Zoom call, just so that way you guys can go over what it is that you can bring to the table, and their ideal client. So a typical conversation with someone, let's say you're a notary and you're talking to a contractor, or someone else that would be, not the target market, but someone that works with your target market. So let's say there is someone that is an inspector for homes. So they would usually work with like title companies, realtors, things within your wheelhouse. And they are not in direct competition. So these are referral partners, not colleagues. And so you would have a conversation with them because, you're also networking. You also could be bringing opportunities to them, and you kind of want to convey that so that way they will pay attention to you, and see the value in even, agreeing to do a Zoom or a coffee with you. So the thing that you would want to usually talk to them about is like, okay, tell me a little bit about what you do, what sets you apart, how you, work with your clients, and then their ideal clients. What's the easiest way that you get your marketing, what's been working for you, and then just kind of have that dialogue. Now, the tricky thing is that if you're first starting out, it's hard for you to kind of say your elevator pitch back, especially as a remote online notary. So you really have to toot your own horn for this. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about like what I would say, or what we would recommend to kind of go into, as far as a remote online notary, because it's a little bit different of what you would pitch if you are only an in-person. But if you do primarily run, or you do a hybrid of both. It's kind of the best of both worlds. But it's definitely a conversation, because the person in front of you knows their business, they don't necessarily know yours. And we're not a, a veterinarian where everybody pretty much knows, like, okay, if someone's dog is sick, I can refer them to you and I know that you'll take care of it. We have a little bit of a different problem because we have the education aspect, which can be difficult, and it can also look like a series of conversations rather than just like okay, I can remotely notarize documents. It doesn't translate to them always, because I will still have people to this day that I work with and I've done remote online notarizations for, and they still think that I, will only drive out to a location, and then they ask me how much it is. They'll call me and be like, hey Katie, how much is it to like drive over here and do a prenup? And I was like, well, have you approached them as doing this online? And they're like, oh, I forgot that you did that. So it's a lot of different things, but you just want to make sure that they know that you can do things remotely. So some of the things that you can bring to the table as a remote online notary to these different businesses is that you have an extended client base. So if you have a client that is a law firm, and the law firm is trying to get a divorce finalized, but one of the spouses is in the Bahamas on vacation, and they finally decided to do a marriage settlement agreement where it's like a dissolution of marriage. They want to get it all set up, and so they need to do it right away. In general, for a normal person, they would have to then go to an embassy or come back, cut their vacation short, and come back to the United States to meet with an in-person notary. If you partner with that law firm, they would be able to get it taken care of while they're in Bahamas, while they're in while they are in the Bahamas. And then what they would need is a laptop, their ID, and then just a good internet. So that is something that you bring to the table, and it's an important conversation to talk to your referral partners for, because they will come across things where it happens and it's like random things, and then they're like, oh, actually, I just met a remote online notary at the Mixer, last week. Let me get you her information. So those are the types of things that will definitely help you within your business, and that way you won't have to always do that way you won't always have to work as hard. So it's like having other people that will advocate for you. So that is something that you would definitely want to incorporate within your business. There are tons of different ways to market, but I also, really wanted to highlight that that is a good way to do, reoccurring business. The other thing is that you have to make sure that when you do get those clients in, you do a stellar job, because if you, don't pick up the phone, if you don't reply to them, if they have a poor experience, they're going to go back to that referral partner and say, hey, why did you, refer them to me? This is what happened, like, what the heck? And that reflects poorly on your referral partner, and they are most likely never going to refer you again. Because when I refer people out to other companies or other people, I will follow up with that person just to make sure that, like, when I refer them, they are having a good experience. Or, if I have someone that comes to me and they are saying like, okay, why did you refer this person? Because they just absolutely demolished, my pool. If it's like a pool person, absolutely demolished my pool. I had to find someone else and it cost me XYZ. I'm not going to refer that pool cleaner ever again. So that's something to think about when you are building your business. And then I kind of wanted to go into how you can pair that with ProNotary, because obviously there are some tips within ProNotary that we provide in order to also help you give the best experience. So ProNotary is the remote online notarization software. If you are interested in finding out more of the pricing, we can go ahead and book a one-on-one. But in general, we have some different features that are really, really important to creating a good environment and experience for our notaries and then for our signers. So some of the things that we've done to make things a lot easier is to create a online signing process that is available online. So any of our notaries or any of our business partners that are going to be using our software can always just copy and paste the link to our sign-on guide. They can also make their own, but usually it's a little bit easier just to use ours. And send it to the clients so that way they know what to expect when they are getting signed on. That does cut down on a lot of confusion. So that is something that you want to think about when you are partnering with a remote online notarization platform, is how much material and how much training they will give to not only you, but information that you can also give to your signers. So that way the process is easy. So that is one thing. The other thing that we do that sets us apart is that we have an automatic sign-on link. So there is something where after you send the invitation, you can just toggle on that you want an automatic sign-on link. And you would copy and paste it right to your client. They click on it, and then after they hit that, they accept the terms and allow the permissions for the microphone and the video, they can go right into the session with you, and then continue with the ID verification in real time with you, just so that way you can walk them through it in case they have any questions. Because while the demographic and the skill level of our signers always are different, it does definitely make a difference if there are less steps that your signers have to go through, just for ease of use. So we heard that, we added in the automatic sign-on link. That is something that is available to all of our clients. And then the third thing that I really wanted to talk about that makes us really, really easy to work with is that if you do have documents that do change, let's say mid-session or after you've already sent out the invitation, you are able to change it on the fly. So if you ever worked in restaurants, it's like, okay, I need this on the fly. It's something very, very quick. So that way you can change out, let's say they found out that the insurance should have been paid by a different party. They need to change out that document. You can do that while the clients are still right there in front of you, and it will not create a huge issue as far as like needing to re-tag everything, needing to kick them out and go back into a new session. Super duper easy. That is not always available with all of the platforms. So that is something to definitely think about, because it will set you apart. And it will make your life a lot easier to be able to do mid-session changes with the documents. That brings me to my next thing. Give me 1 second. And that brings me to my next point that I wanted to make. And that is being able to change out the signers mid-session. So for the most part, it's if you're kind of newer, it doesn't really make sense as far as like, okay, why would we need to be able to change out the signers? You are also able to add in signers. So sometimes for title companies, they need affidavits from realtors now. So that's something that is coming through and through, where people will have to do an affidavit. So let's say the title company sends you over just the signers, so a husband and a wife that are selling a home. The notary or the realtor would have to come on too sometimes. So what you would have to do in general is go through, send out a completely different session. That is not the thing that you would have to do with ProNotary. You'd be able to go in the session, add in that signer, and then go on with your notarization. So they would be able to get signed on, they'd be able to sign, they'd be able to go through the ID verification, and then same thing with witnesses. So let's say you have a witness that is lined up for today at 2 o'clock, you have a signing, and for whatever reason, your witness calls you and says, hey, I'm really sorry, but I can't make it. So instead of scrambling and having to redo, and retag an entire document, what you can do instead is go into the session, get rid of the signer that can't, or get rid of the witness that can't go in. You'd have to find a witness that is available, and then you can just simply add them in. So that is something that I wanted to really highlight and go into. You also, speaking of referral partners and everything like that, like we do want to keep track of your signers and any of your clients. So we do have something that you can add in different clients and keep track of the notarizations. So whether it is still pending, or if it has been finalized. After it's been finalized, then you can send it on to the party. But that is a basic overview and a highlight that I wanted to talk about for today's webinar. So my next question is, does anyone have any questions? I think everybody is pretty much on mute, but I can unmute if that is something that anyone has any questions for. So I think we have like a couple more minutes. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so we have a couple more minutes. Let me see. The reminder starts in 1 week. Okay. So just as a reminder, this is something that does happen every week. So if you have another question, you can feel free to send in a request so that way we can go over a specific thing. I wanted to remind you that we do have a YouTube that has extensive information available both for, building the business, different streams of income, how to use the platform, how to set up your remote online notarizations. We do different interviews with people within our industry. The most recent one that's coming out is someone from the NNA with specific advice for new notaries. So feel free to check that out. Sign up with us today, and then you will be able to start your remote online notarization journey. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Unless I don't see that anyone has any questions, and I kind of covered all of the things that I wanted to cover. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. Feel free to jump on the next one. It will also be Thursday at 12 Eastern Standard Time. And then also sign up for our newsletter so that way you never miss anything. Thank you.